Welcome back to CAISTROLOGY, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be doing your March 2021 horoscope. I recommend watching the horoscope for your ascendant sign first and foremost, because it will be the most overall accurate horoscope for you, but of course feel free to watch for your sun and moon horoscopes as well. I've just posted my tarot predictions for March 2021, so I'll leave a link in the description box below. That is a pick a card tarot reading. If you're interested in seeing my monthly horoscopes or my monthly tarot readings, please subscribe to CAISTROLOGY, as those go up at the end of each month for the following month. And lastly, guys, I do private readings for astrology and tarot. These are via video call, so if you want to connect with me, I'll leave a link in the description box, but you can find that at caistrology.com. Without further ado, let's dive straight into the March horoscopes. Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your March 2021 horoscope. The month starts off with Mars entering the sign of Gemini on the 4th of March, which means it will be transiting your 5th house for 7 weeks. With Mars in your 5th house, you may be determined to finish working on some area of your own business if you own one. On a different level, if you are involved in any kind of creative or artistic pursuits, you may encounter some kind of obstacles or issues with these projects of yours, but on a different level, you'll just be putting so much effort into them, and you'll actually have a lot of energy and effort to put into these matters. Now, for some of you, an opportunity may come up very suddenly with regard to your business. Once again, this is if you own your own business, and you will need to act on it very quickly, Aquarius, because Mars is a very fast moving planet, and any opportunity that comes your way must be acted on immediately in case the opportunity slips through your fingers before you've even had a chance to say yes or no. Now, for some of you Aquarians, if you have children, you may experience some arguments with your children, especially your firstborn child. But for some of you Aquarians, you'll simply have a lot of excess energy to shed when it comes to any kind of celebratory affair, because the 5th house rules partying, celebrations, going out, gambling, playing sports. So you may want to put all of your excess energy into these areas. And also the 5th house rules romance. So you may actually meet someone who's very independent, very pushy, okay? Or perhaps they just come into your life like a whirlwind and really spice things up. So if you are a single Aquarian and you do have some dates lined up for the next couple of months, just keep a close eye on who it is that you're dating, because this could actually turn into something a little bit more long-term. Now, on the 7th of March, the post-shadow period for the Mercury retrograde that we just had will finally be over. And considering that this Mercury retrograde period was actually in your 1st house, you would have been really busy for all of February. It might have just felt like everyone's trying to get a piece of you. And you may have experienced some miscommunications with people over the last month. But the good news is that now that this post-shadow period is over, things can finally go back to normal. But you might have actually met some important new connections over the last month, and these connections could turn into friendships or business associates or clients of some sort. So, you know, do put a little bit of maintenance and effort into any new connections that you've formed over the last month. Now, for some of you, this Mercury retrograde period may have seen you reach out to an ex, okay? Whether that's an ex-flame or an ex-friend. You may have actually reestablished some relationships in those areas, but on a different level, you may have actually just changed up your whole appearance. Maybe you've started dressing a different way, or you got a haircut, or you gave yourself a bit of a makeover. You know, when Mercury goes retrograde in the 1st house, we can start reevaluating our entire appearance. And it's not just at a material level and an aesthetic level, it's also with regard to your entire direction in life and your course and your calling. So some of you Aquarians may have made some pretty huge life-changing decisions over the last month. Now on the 13th of March, there will be a new moon in Pisces, and this is in your second house of finances. This new moon will be at 23 degrees Pisces, and it's actually in a tight conjunction with both Venus and Neptune. So new moons always indicate new beginnings in some capacity. And with this one in your second house, it will of course be pertaining to anything that you value. This can be on a physical level, like your valuables and your possessions, but it can also be your set of personal values, and on a very literal level, your finances, as I mentioned. Now, it is important to look at what Venus rules in your chart, and that's your 4th house, which is in Taurus, and your 9th house, which is in Libra. And something else to consider is that Neptune represents sacrifice and loss in some sense, okay? So with this new moon in your 2nd house, you may be planting the seeds for a new financial stream of income, all right? So these seeds will be planted over the course of the next 4 weeks, and you may see the full culmination of this in 6 months' time at the full moon in Pisces. But it might even be the full moon in Pisces next year in 18 months' time. So with this Neptunian sacrifice, okay, you may have to actually spend a bit of money to make money, okay? Neptune can represent loss in its most physical sense. So you may have to lose some money by investing in what it is that you're going to be making this additional stream of income off of. And for some of you, this may be connected to your 9th house, which is travel, or you may be investing in your higher education, and that's why, you know, you have to spend a bit of money to apply for this course. And for some of you, this could be with regard to a new home, represented by the 4th house being in Taurus. Now, for some of you, you may experience with this new moon a change in your financial income, okay? So this could be connected to a pay cut. So for example, maybe you are going on maternity leave. Again, we have Venus ruling the 4th house. So, you know, your finances may, it may dip because your maternity leave is not full pay, or maybe you decide to extend past what your maternity leave will provide, all right? So it could be connected to being a stay-at-home parent. For others of you, this change in financial income could be due to you working part-time to support studying, all right? Or perhaps you're living abroad and you're going paycheck to paycheck and just taking on casual jobs. Now with this new moon in Pisces, it could be that you have a whole new set of values, and maybe this is going against some of your traditional family values which you were raised with. Now on the 16th of March, Mercury will enter Pisces in your 2nd house. So once again, we're leading off of the back of the new moon in Pisces. So with Mercury in your 2nd house, you will be thinking a lot about finances. You will be thinking a lot about your valuables and possessions. Some of you may even be selling some of your valuables and your possessions. And of course, you will be considering what you value in life. You know, how much do you value yourself? How much are your assets worth? You know, it could be on at a very literal sense or at a figurative sense. Now, on the 20th of March, the Sun will enter Aries in your 3rd house. So this kicks off Aries season. And just 2 days later, Venus will enter Aries on the 22nd of March. So with the Sun and Venus both being in your 3rd house, you will be heavily focused on all of your daily or day-to-day plans, okay? So projects, meetings, appointments, running errands, The third house also rules short travel, weekends away. It rules communications and business and sales and marketing. So with the Sun and Venus here, you'll be very focused on those things, but you will enjoy trips away. You will enjoy working on your business or collaborating with your team at work or your business clients and associates. And with Venus being in the third house, this actually is a really great time for sales. If you do work in sales in any way, shape or form, it's a great time for public speaking, communications, writing, messaging in any sense of the word. And with the Sun here, you can really shine in this department. So if you do run some kind of social media platform, you will be very visible to the public at this time, and any content that you create and that you put out there can be received really well because you are extremely creative in these areas over the next month. Now, the third house also rules friends, siblings and relatives, and training and short courses. So you might start some new course or training practice and you will do well at it with Venus here and the Sun here. Now, Venus represents where we can meet a romantic interest or even make new friends. So you single Aquarians can absolutely meet a new love interest while you're running errands, while you're on a trip away, while you're on the daily commute to work, as random as it is. You can meet a romantic interest via an introduction from your siblings, relatives, your friends, or even in the workplace as well. You may actually start dating a client. So that's another way that this can play out. And some of you will simply make new friends by going to any of these places which I mentioned or via any of these forums and mediums. And you definitely can meet someone online during this time. Now, on the 27th of March, there will be a full moon in Libra at 8 degrees and it is in your 9th house. So this full moon will actually be trining Mars in Gemini in your 5th house, and it's trining Saturn and Jupiter in your 1st house. And of course, Saturn is the planet that rules you, Aquarius. So with this full moon in Libra, it's the end of a chapter or some cycle in your life, and that's indicative of all full moons, all right? They always represent some area of our life ending, but this one, Aquarius, will actually be really positive for you, okay? It's an amicable ending, and given that it is in the 9th house, this can be connected to study or higher education. You can finish your study, you can finish your master's program. Some of you will actually be having your graduation itself over the next month, because the 9th house rules cultural traditions and like the formalization of any kind of ceremony, okay? So some of you, if you are studying law, you may take the bar and be successful, or perhaps you are celebrating having successfully taken the bar or becoming a judge. And the 9th house also rules travel. So if you are traveling, you know, your travel journey can come to a natural close over the next 4 weeks. But again, this is trining your 1st house. You're happy for this to be over, and this is a decision that you made. And trining your 5th house, this is bringing you joy. Maybe your travel plans or your travel journey became quite strenuous and tiring, and you're happy for it to finally be over. Now, the 9th house also rules spirituality and religion. So with regard to religion, maybe some of you are achieving a position of leadership. You may be going through a ceremony where you're being ordained as a monk, for an example. Now, with spirituality, perhaps you've reached a state of enlightenment and euphoria because it's trining your 5th house. And again, the 5th house represents joy and what we take pleasure in. And given that it's trining your 1st house, you know, this is you, and you are experiencing some kind of some kind of spiritual experience, okay? Mind, body, and spirit. And lastly, the ninth house represents world beliefs and your hopes and visions for the future. So maybe you're actually achieving some kind of plan that you had for your future, and you can check this one off the list or celebrate it as a milestone. Well, Aquarius, that's all I have for you for March 2021. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content from me at CAISTROLOGY, please subscribe to my channel, and also be sure to check out my new tarot predictions video for March 2021, and I'll leave a link for that for you in the description box. So enjoy March 2021, Aquarius, and I will see you guys next month.